Welcome to Mythic Codex Legends Unveiled, the place where mythology, folklore, and legends come alive. I'm your host Eliza, and tonight we'll uncover the stories that have captivated humanity for thousands of years. Turn the page, our journey begins now. Have you ever caught something moving just out of the corner of your eye, only to turn and find nothing there? Maybe it was just your imagination, or maybe it wasn't. For centuries, people around the world have claimed they've seen dark figures standing silently in the shadows. Some say they're ghosts, others believe they're demons, spirits, or even beings from another world. No matter what they're called, one thing always seems to stay the same. They appear without warning, they never speak, and they vanish just as quickly as they arrive. But as I researched this episode, I discovered something that completely changed the way I look at shadow people. Not every culture believes there's something to fear. In fact, one of the most interesting stories I found came from African folklore, where these mysterious figures are seen in a completely different light. According to this legend, shadow people are ascendant spirits whose purpose isn't to haunt the living, but to guide the dead. When someone passes away, the shadowy beings quietly appear to help their soul leave the world of the living and safely enter the next. They don't demand attention, they don't frighten people on purpose, and they don't wander the earth looking for big victims. Instead, they're believed to be silent guides, carrying our responsibility that has existed since the beginning of time. Some stories connected to the Maasai people tell of spiritual beings that are closely tied to the natural world. These spirits are believed to watch over the land, protect scarce places, and help maintain the balance between nature, humanity, and the spirit world. They're not seen as monsters, they're guardians. Image standing alone beneath the African night sky. The stars stretch further than you can imagine, and the only sound are the wind moving through the grass and the distant calls of animals. Somewhere in the darkness, the elders say the spirit's world exists alongside ours. Most of the time, we can't see it, but every once in a while, the veil between the two worlds becomes thin. And that's when a shadow person may appear, not to harm you, but because their path briefly crossed yours. Some legends say these spirits move like smoke. They don't walk the way we do. They simply glide through the darkness, almost blending into the night itself. If you happen to see one, it's said to disappear before your eyes can fully focus on it, leaving you wondering if you actually saw anything at all. In these stories, the shadows aren't always something to fear. Sometimes They're simply a reminder that we're not alone, and that there are mysteries in this world we'll never fully understand. But the more I thought about that idea, the more questions I had. If these shadowy figures really are guardians, why do they appear as nothing more than dark silhouettes? Why do they stay hidden? And why have so many stories about these survived for generations? According to the legend, these spirits aren't meant to be fully seen by the living. They're believed to exist just beyond our understanding, moving between our world and the spirit world without disturbing the natural balance. Most people go through entire lives without ever noticing them, but every once in a while, someone does. The stories say that these encounters usually happen in a moment of complete stillness. It might be late at night when the world has gone quiet, or during a peaceful walk through nature when everything suddenly feels different. The air seems heavier, the sounds around you fade. For just a brief moment, it feels like time itself has slowed down. Then, standing in the distance, there's a figure. It doesn't move toward you. It doesn't call out. It simply stands there, almost blending into the darkness around it. And just as quickly as you notice it, it's gone. I think the idea the African folklore has of the shadowy people being guardians and um, guiding the the dead people's souls to the next world. I think that is an interesting story of folklore. Like other ones say that they should be feared, but this one doesn't. That's why I decided to go with the African folklore legend of shadowy people, because they have a different twist on it. They believe they shouldn't be feared, and that they're guardians to our world, between our world and theirs. And I think that is awesome and amazing to think about. According to the legend, that's because these spirits aren't trying to make themselves known. If your paths happen to cross, it's only for a moment. Their purpose is far greater than that. They're believed to be watching over the balance between life and death, making sure every soul finds its way. When its journey in this world has come to an end, I actually think that's one of the most beautiful parts of this legend. Instead of telling us to fear the darkness, it reminds us that not everything hidden in the shadows is evil. Sometimes the things we don't understand have a purpose beyond anything we can imagine. Maybe that's why these stories have been passed down for so many generations. They offer a different way of looking at death, not as something to fear, but as another step in a journey that none of us will make alone. Whether you believe these spirits are real or simply part of an old legend, I think there's something comforting about the idea that someone or something is there to guide us when the time comes. And maybe that's why, in this version of the story, the shadows aren't our enemy. They're silent guardians, waiting patiently just beyond the edge of our sight. So, what would you think if you briefly saw a shadowy figure just standing off in the distance, not making a sound, not moving, just standing, and then all of a sudden, it vanishes before your eyes? What would you do? Let me know your answer in the comments. And maybe that's the part of this legend that stays with me the most. For centuries, people have looked into the darkness and wondered what might be waiting there. Some have seen fear, some have seen mystery, but others have seen something different. A presence, a guardian, a reminder that there may be more to this world than what we can see with our own eyes. The legend of the Shadow People shows us that not every shadow has to be a warning. Not every unknown presence has to be something we run from. Sometimes the things we don't understand may have been there for a reason all along. Maybe they are spirits guiding souls to their final destination. Maybe they are guardians, protecting the land and the balance between our worlds and the spirit world. Or maybe they are simply a reminder that there are still mysteries in this world that science and history haven't fully explained. But one thing is certain. Across generations and across culture, people have looked into the shadows and felt the same thing. That feeling that we are not completely alone. So, the next time you find yourself walking through a quiet place, standing beneath an endless night sky, or catching something moving just beyond your vision, don't be so quick to look away. Because maybe, just maybe, the shadow you see isn't there to frighten you. Maybe it's there to remind you that some legends aren't about what hides in the darkness, but what watches over us from within it. That's so beautiful. I feel like this is the most heartwarming story I've ever done on my podcast so far. It's so heartwarming, and just to think that beings like this could be out there protecting us, but not only protecting us, when we're gone, they help our souls find its way. And that's so remarkable. Thank you for joining me on another journey into the unknown. This is your host, Eliza, and you are listening to Mythic Codex Legends Unveiled. Until next time, keep searching for the stories forgotten by time. Keep questioning what lies beyond what we know. And remember, sometimes the greatest mysteries are the ones standing quietly in the shadows. Thank you for listening.